Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 196, our biggest business Icks.
Last week's episode was quite heavy. We were very vulnerable. We opened ourselves up, which it's not always easy to do. So when it came to deciding what we were going to talk about this week, we wanted something a bit lighter.
We sure did. So why not talk about our Icks that we have? I'm nervous, actually, because I don't want to offend anyone.
We probably should have a little disclaimer that these are our personal Icks. So the VA or business owner down the street may not have the same Icks as us. So we're not necessarily saying that you should avoid doing all of these in general to anybody or say them or whatever it is. So these are our personal Icks when it comes to everything in the VA space. So that's team members, it's clients, it's leads, it's fellow online business owners.
Can we start this by me giving myself, saying what my ick is about myself first?
Oh, yes, please do.
Mine is when I say like all the bloody time. Whenever our VA does our short clips for us, and in those clips, I say like about 10 times. I'm like, oh, I just did it then. I think far out I need to stop saying that because that must be so annoying for anyone listening that I'm always saying like.
When we were listening back to last week's episode, just to make sure we were happy with it, there were no glitches, the sound was all good. We were both listening to it at the same time, and the amount of times, and it wasn't just you, Joe, it was me as well. Like there was one conversation in particular that I think we both said like 3 times each, like in one conversation. It was really awkward. So sorry about that. We're going to try our best to avoid that word today.
Without it being so stunted and slow that we sound weird on this episode. So we are going to make our best attempts to be natural and remove the like.
Let's see how we go.
Now you're overthinking it, aren't you?
I'm totally overthinking it. The other thing that I feel we should mention is that we have a lot of listeners from around the world. It's not just New Zealand and Australian virtual assistants that listen to us. Now, I have a feeling those listeners from America may be wondering what we're even saying when we say ick because of our accent.
Right, let's spell it then. What we mean is the word ICKS. Icks, the little like kind of things that just like, when you see them or hear them.
Yeah. Like I feel like everyone knows the term, but just in case our accent was putting anyone off, that's what we mean. Now, we have sat down this morning. We have individually come up with 10 of our biggest icks each. Now, we haven't shared these with one another. So Joe's icks are going to be a surprise to me and vice versa. We may find as we're going through our list that there might be some double ups. In fact, I'm pretty sure there probably are going to be some double ups. But let's get straight into it, I reckon. Number 1, Joe, on your list.
Okay, number 1 for me, and I hear even professional speakers say this, the word something and everything instead of something and everything.
Oh, has this happened recently?
All the time.
Mind?
Yes. I went to an event the other day and the speaker said something and everything. Like, that's not the word. How do you not know that that's not the word?
Was the speaker like 5?
No. Professional speaker of like 20 plus years. And
Wow.
they did it.
And they're saying it multiple times. It wasn't just a one-off kind of mistake. It came
No.
up.
Every time that they say that word, and there's someone else that I know in our realm that also does this as well. And I don't know what it is, but I pick up on that like immediately. It is the biggest ick. Stop saying it like that.
That is your biggest ick? Not only is it
Yeah.
an ick, it is your biggest ick on your
They're my
list.
number one on my list.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, like I'm learning something new about you every single day, Denson. That's hilarious. Yeah. I can see why that would be annoying.
Mm.
And after we finish this up, you need to tell me who this person is that's in our room. I'm dying to ask, but I'm not going to put you on the spot. Okay. The first one on my list, this isn't my biggest ick, but it just happens to be the first one on my list. And it's leads that ghost you. I think that's just icky. I think it's rude. Like,
Why? Why? Just say I'm not interested.
Yeah, there's no reason to ghost. It's not the right time for me. It's not in my budget. Just do the common courtesy of letting that VA know that it's not happening. Just be kind. But it's kind of like a double-barreled ick for me. It's an ick that leads that goes, but it's an ick the VAs that allow themselves to be ghosted, because we know that there are things that you can do as a virtual assistant business owner to prevent being ghosted. There are going to be sometimes it happens that it's totally out of your control. It's just a dick move on the lead's part. But there are some things that can be done in order to prevent that ghosting, and the fact that VA business owner may not be taking any of our advice around that, like, too. So that's a double barrel ick for me.
Yeah. All right. My next ick is, I'll just mark these off so I know which ones I've done, because clearly I'm not a list like process driven person. My page is like all scrawly. Okay, my next one is when someone connects with you on LinkedIn and they immediately send you a flippin' sales message. Are you looking for? Here are my packages and these are all my services. Oh my, stop. Stop.
Yeah. And I would double down on that if that first message is obviously an automated bot one.
Do you know how you can tell? If you connect with someone, they accept your connection and immediately sends you a long message. I'm like, that's automated. Or they request to connect with you. You accept the connection request and boom, instantly there's a message. That's not them.
It's too soon. It's far too soon. Yeah, off-putting. Agreed. It's not on my list, but yeah, I'd add it to my list. That's a horrible ick. Next up on my list of icks is when a virtual assistant hears the words, but I could get another VA to do that for XXX. $5 an hour, $10 an hour. Ick. Like, we have to deal with it. And I've just said like. Like, I know it is part of being in the VA space, and I know we need to expect to hear those words at least once a year, I'd say, but it doesn't take away from the fact I just find it icky that somebody needs to say that. Like, it really, they are trying to devalue what it is that you do.
Yeah. It's not comparing apples with apples. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Here's my offensive one. You ready for it?
Offensive? Yes, I'm here for the offensive ones.
So like offending someone who does this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Not swearing. Wearing your hoodie on a reel, story, photo, anywhere. I despise the even concept of an hoodie, and then to actually have it on your business account. No, that's an ick for me. Doubly because I don't like hoodies, and then to have it on your socials.
You went there. You
I did go
went
there.
Jo. We were talking about this last week. I'm surprised you went there. Agreed.
Oh, more for showing up authentically and naturally, and showing up like, oh my gosh, if you do this, like, good on you for showing up. Like, please don't let this stop you from showing up. Amazing, because there are plenty of VAs who don't show up at all. I just don't like hoodies.
We wouldn't find an hoodie in your house at all?
Never. No, my kids don't have them. My husband doesn't have them. I don't have one.
Wow. My kids have them. I
Yeah.
would never buy one.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a fine line. As you said, we're all for showing up authentically. However, we've also spent so many years trying to raise the profile of virtual assistants so we are taken seriously. So we are seen as being professional, and hoodies are a sneeze away from pajamas.
Oh, I would put them in the same category.
Oh, you would? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. There
Okay.
you go.
Sorry, hoodie owners around the world. My next one is along the similar lines about showing up on social media. It's not about what you're wearing though, but it's the virtual assistants online that they're being real, they're being authentic, they're showing the lowlights of being in business as much as the highlights. So these are all ticks. None of these bits are icks. But when it goes too far, and you're often seeing the posts and the stories around how life is really hard, how parenting's really hard, sick kids again, I'm sick, I'm dealing with this. So it's when that becomes a common theme in how you're showing up, that's when it turns icky for me.
Agreed. Yeah, you think it's being authentic, but real. But me as a client or as a potential client looking for a VA, I'm not going to choose that one. Because you're sending out a whole lot of kind of signals that you're not going to be able to prioritize my work or be reliable or be a good VA.
Are you going to be dependable? I'm not sure because you're sharing every week that you've had to take 2 days off due to whatever reason. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I wasn't sure whether I was going to put it on my list, especially because of last week's episode was around sharing the lowlights as well as the highlights. But when you think about it, anybody that follows us, whether that's listening to the podcast on a regular basis or following us on social media or they're in the mastermind and see us show up weekly in lives there, nobody wants to hear our problems and our lowlights every single time we show up. Because that's just depressing. And who wants a coach? It's the only bit that they share about life.
Yeah, it's like the vibe that you're putting out. Like every now and then to be like, hey, the business is tough. Totally. But if it's a reoccurring theme over and over and it becomes a negative vibe rather than a positive vibe, yeah, that's an ick. Okay, let's talk about reels.
I'm ready.
Oh, my ick is the staged reels, the reactions, the waking up pretending that you have just woken up and you're videoing yourself waking up, or your reaction, we can tell that you have completely staged this whole thing and you are not reacting authentically. Like, no, can't stand those ones.
Like the day in a life of ones where you're literally starting from when they're getting out of bed. So the camera has been set up and then you're hopping back in bed and pretending
you woke up and that was the first time you woke up. You've got your makeup and hair done, but you did not just wake up. Please don't pretend that you just woke up. Do the day in the life, absolutely. Show you opening the curtains of your bedroom, like, great. But pretending that you filmed yourself actually waking up, no.
I don't think I've seen any virtual assistants do that, but definitely very influencer-like people.
Definitely.
I want to talk about team member Icks. Now, I don't have a team, not client-facing team members.
I love how you say that, and then you're like, I actually do.
I knew, I could see you were just about to butt in and say, Sam, you do have a team. I'm talking...
Sorry to Maria, who is listening to this episode as our team member.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. So my ick is around client-facing team members, which I have none of. However, I see this happen occasionally. It pops up, it happens. And I can still feel ick about it, even though it's never happened to me. And that's the client-facing team members that feel like it's okay for them to steal those clients. They're treating the clients they support like their own clients instead of the agency's clients. Ick. I think that might be my number one ick.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, actually. Yeah, I would say that's right up there. A top ick.
The entitlement around that. Oh, just entitlement in general.
Yes.
Icky, biggest ick ever. But when it shows up that way, I honestly don't think there is a bigger ick in the VA space than that. Just saying.
Agreed. Why do you think that that is your client? That is not your client. The agency is your client. Who's paying you? It's not the client. It is the agency. Whoever is paying you is the client.
It's very black and white in our minds. There is no grey area there whatsoever. Don't try and find the grey. It is not there. Yep. Was that not on your list?
No, that wasn't on my list.
Interesting.
No. One thing that is on my list is seeing, this is not team members, this is just in general, the desperation of some VAs. I can do anything. I can do everything for anyone because I'm so desperate for work. That's a real ick. And that's not an ick just for me. That is icky for anyone looking to hire a VA. You are absolutely putting off your potential clients.
Oh, I really feel for those VAs that find themselves in that position. A lot of empathy. I think we've all been there. We have all been there at some point in our VA journeys where we have felt that. But yes, absolutely. You see some virtual assistants, it goes beyond feeling it. It's then showing up in everything that they put out there. And that's when the ick is.
Yeah. Putting their hand up for any opportunity, regardless of what the work is, just because they are desperate for the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we feel for you, and that's not a good strategy. There are better strategies for finding clients.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm going there, Joe.
Uh-oh.
Chat GPT and AI and bots and all of that jazz that we are dealing with at the moment. Now, that isn't my ick. My particular ick around this, around AI and using it in our businesses, is when it is very obvious that the copy that you are reading, whether that is on a post or an email or on a website, or even just like chatting online with somebody, has come from ChatGPT or another app like it.
Without a brand voice. It's like the standard, without any style at all. It's like the default language style of ChatGPT, and they think that that is just like fine to copy and paste.
It's obvious. It is so obvious when it has come from when it hasn't all come from you. Like, I'm not saying don't use it. Absolutely use it. But if we go back to that 80-20 rule, you are going to have to you're going to have to make it your own. Yes, put in the prompts, let ChatGPT pop something out for you to use, but you can't just copy and paste it as is. You need to put you in there.
Yes.
Oh, I'm seeing it so much, and it's like
we're going to see it more and more, and we're going to see so much bad crap content out there. Like, we are all for using ChatGPT. Please don't get us wrong. Like, we are all for it. There are some incredible opportunities out there for VAs, which we're going to talk about in a future webinar. But in terms of not understanding how to use it and not getting any training or learning about prompt engineering, it's going to give you shit copy.
Yeah. So use it, but please make it your own.
Yeah.
Boom.
Nice.
Rant over about that.
Okay, I'm going to go with something visual this time. Why are VAs still using clip-arty visuals?
It happens. It's still happening.
Man.
I can't believe it. It blows my mind every time. Where are they getting them? Where are they getting clip art? Where is clip art available now?
That little flipping white circle man thing with the tools, the the hammer, the winchy thing. No.
Get him. How do you find him though?
I think it's still in Canva. I think you can still get clip art in Canva.
So you can search for clip art. Why would someone be searching for clip art?
I think it gives you clip arty options when you do a search. We just scroll past them. We're like, nope. Yeah. It's not necessary anymore. There's way better images and graphics to use.
When I see that, and this is very judgmental, but my God, if I'm judging somebody on it, then your leads are going to be judging you as well, right? When I see that type of image used anywhere, I automatically have put an age range on the person using it.
Yes. It's like it is, there's that word again. It's from the 90s.
Yes.
That was all we had in the 90s on our computers. We've got to move past what's familiar if you started out with that. And let's get into 2024, eh?
Yeah, time to move on. And let's move on to the next ick. The next ick on my list is, this is going to come as no surprise, nameless, faceless VA businesses. There's nothing. There is no hint as to who this virtual assistant is.
Yeah, I think it's like maybe VAs have thought that the business is the business and it's completely separate to them. Like, let's be honest, you are the business. As a virtual assistant, it's you. You're the business. That's who the client is buying the service from. It's you. It's not the business. You are a personal brand when you start a virtual assistant business. So stop hiding.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you can't even find that person's name on any of their online presence. Like, who are you behind the business? You haven't even put your first name anywhere.
Especially when this nameless, faceless business hasn't even got their name on their email address. So it's like a hello at rather than a Sam at, because that's my kind of final straw. If I can't see a name or a face anywhere else, I'll go to the email address. So if that's faceless and nameless as well, I'm going to double down on it. This is an ick. It's a double ick if that virtual assistant is complaining they can't find clients.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Yes. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that any potential client looking for a virtual assistant would never, ever choose one. They didn't know what the name was and couldn't see that person anywhere. Never.
I agree. The only exception would be if it has been a word of mouth referral that has sent that lead to that website or social media account. Does that make sense?
Yes, and even then you'd be like, really? Is this actually going to be good? Like, you'd go back and double check with the person, wouldn't you?
Probably.
Referred you.
Probably. Hey, let us know if you're listening and you have a nameless, faceless virtual assistant business and you are doing really, really well. Please reach out. Tell us what you're doing to get those clients.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating. Yeah. Okay. Makeup filters. Okay. We've done that. We've been there. Stop it. No more. No more makeup filters. We want you to be authentic, real. So stop trying to be perfect online. I tried to do a video yesterday and I got out my phone and then I went, oh, I could just do a filter this time because it'd like make my skin look nice. No. That is not the real person. I am not going to do that. I refuse. And so I made a commitment to myself. I will never, ever use a filter online. I want it to be real. Now, obviously, brand shoots, they are edited photos. Totally get that. Showing up on video, no filters.
The slippery slope.
But I will use a filter on Zoom though. But I wouldn't.
Why is that okay?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Because I have to stare at myself an hour in a meeting. Okay. This is specifically for me then on those really like the filters that are putting makeup and like changing someone's face. That is an absolute ick. Never do that. When it's like smoothing out your skin on Zoom, you're using that skin smoother thing. I think that's a good option. I like using that.
Yeah. I like using
if I'm going to do stories, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to use filter.
I feel like, I feel like this is a tricky one. I feel like if using something very subtle like the Zoom one is making you feel more comfortable about showing up, I feel like go for it. If that is the difference between you showing up and not showing up, go for it. But it's when those filters are actually putting makeup on, changing the size of your eyes, moving your eyes, changing the shape of your face.
Slimming your face. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when it's no longer authentic. Like if you walk past the mirror and you're like, who is that person? Because you've been staring at yourself all day on something using one of those filters that you actually don't recognize yourself, that's then an issue.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. The ick is makeup filters.
Or slimming filters. Yeah.
A face changing filter. Total ick. If using a subtle filter is going to have you make the difference between you showing up and not showing up, go for it.
Yeah, agreed. That was a good discussion.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had that conversation. What's the next one on my... we haven't had any double ups yet.
No. I honestly thought you were going to have the Uri one.
well, as soon as you said it, it was like, oh, genius. I can't believe I didn't think of that one. Right. The next one on my list, and this one is I think we're going to have a conversation about this one because it's not necessarily cut and dried. When we hear or have conversations or hear usually aspiring virtual assistants share with us that their husbands aren't on board with whatever goal it is they have with them being in the VA space. So I guess my biggest ick would be unsupportive partners and husbands and wives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a tough one though, isn't it? Because this happened to us recently, and we had some correspondence through from somebody that was thinking about entering the VA space. They were looking at launch in 30 days, which it's an investment. And some of the wording that was used alluded to the fact that it was potentially due to the fact that they didn't have a very supportive partner. However, it's like, well, actually, that isn't always the case, right? Like, we actually don't know the background. What if that, in this case, it was a husband, what if that husband had actually seen their wife try multiple different things over the past few years and splurge money here and there and got bored with something and it's never really come to fruition? Like, if that is the case, then absolutely, that's not an unsupportive partner.
No.
That's actually somebody telling you what you need to hear. But we know that that's not always the case.
Yeah, it is hard. How do you turn up every day to your business and put your best effort in when you know that somebody isn't supporting you and doesn't have your back or doesn't believe in you, doesn't think that you can do it, doesn't think that it's a good idea? Man, that would be rough. Really rough. That would be a total ick. That's horrible.
Yeah. I feel really sad, actually, really sad that you've got somebody in your life that isn't supportive. And it always makes you wonder, what else aren't they supportive of? Like, what else, and what other ways are they holding you back? But we're not relationship counselors or therapists. Yeah, so
Definitely not.
Let's move on to the next one.
Yep. Okay, this is going to be another one that's going to offend.
Oh, Joe.
And I want, if you are tempted to do this one, I think there's a way to do this that doesn't make it an ick.
Okay.
Please don't hate me.
Okay.
When someone online is saying, oh, I'm so excited, there's something awesome coming up, can't wait to share with you. And then it's like, here's my new packages, or here's my new website. It's like, okay, that might be really exciting for you, but for everyone else, they don't actually care about that because it's got nothing to do with them.
Shit. Joe, we do this. Did you not realize we do this? We did it recently with the Voxer mentoring inside the mastermind. Did we not do that? And do you remember
something exciting for them, because it's a like, you can get access to us to get all your questions and get unstuck.
You're assuming that's exciting for them. Remember the first round of copy that I wrote, you were like, you need to add some excitement in there.
Yeah. Okay. Why am I saying this?
Yeah. Let's delve a bit deeper.
I see so many people using the term so excited to share this with you that I feel like that is so overdone. I hope we don't say this all the time. Like, we probably do. I see this so excited everywhere, all the time. And then it's for things that aren't actually that exciting at all. So how can you share something that actually is of value to someone else watching or listening?
What if they're generally excited though? Like they're really excited. put a lot of work into. I'm not going to argue. I shouldn't argue with your ick. If this is your ick, that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm judging your ick now. Probably because I think it is something that I use. And so now I'm trying to justify my use of that term, possibly. Yeah. So I'm one of the ones that you've just said, sorry if I offend you. Have you offended me? No. This will make me more aware of overusing it, though. So thank you, Jo. Thank you for that lesson.
It's the term, like, so excited. Wow, that is so overdone.
Super pumped.
Overdone.
Super pumped.
Super pumped. Stoked. Got something awesome. Yeah, so excited. Do you know? Oh, okay. This is where I also hear this. At the start of every single video that's announcing something. Every time you will hear this, every single time a person speaks. I'm so excited to be here on stage, in a session, in a workshop, coming on a live, like every time. I'm so excited.
What would you suggest they say to convey
anything else?
What would you say, Jo? What would you say if we were launching something new tomorrow? What would you say? Never done before, never seen before. This is the best thing since sliced bread.
You are going to love this.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm so excited. So overdone. Okay, the Ick is not like, showing your website. The Ick is saying, I'm so excited. And then whatever you're going to share.
Okay.
Let's try and find some different ways.
Yes.
To start those sessions, conversations, announcements.
Point taken. Was this just your way of telling me that I overused that? I feel like it is. Moving on. Next up on my list, soft launches. I get like soft launching a relationship if you're a celebrity, like easing somebody into it. I don't feel as though there is any benefit of that if you're talking about your virtual assistant business. Like, why?
Agreed. Go for it. Launch. It's a fair thing. That's a fair thing. Like, oh, if I do a soft launch and no one decides to become my client, then I haven't failed. Because I was just soft launching it. So it wasn't, my expectations are low, so I can't get my hopes up.
So the ick isn't necessarily around soft launches in general. The ick is actually using a soft launch as an excuse for not doing the hard thing, whether that's a conversation or putting yourself out there.
Yeah. Yep. All right. That's all of my list. Have you got anything else on your list that you would love to share?
I've got two more.
Okay.
Things. Okay.
Go
Very, very quickly because I'm realizing what the time is. Okay. Second to last ick is people that message you on multiple platforms about the same thing within a 10-minute period. I can't be the only one this happens to. It happens to me at least once a week.
I can't believe that this happens to you. Like, who does that? Who thinks it's okay to then make you even more busier by messaging you in 3 places and having to deal with all 3 of those notifications, all 3 of those messages? Like, just message one avenue and then wait.
Yeah, it's very common for someone to email me, send me a message on LinkedIn, and then DM me. That's probably the common like trifecta of ways they reach out about the same thing.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, if you do that, can you just think about it? And not just doing it with me. If you do that to anybody, if you are chasing up a lead, please don't do that. Okay. And my last one, my last ick. And I don't think this is going to be a surprise to you, John. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody that knows me well. grammar police. Grammar police, spelling police. Have you not got
anything? You want to know, though, that you made a mistake, Sam?
No, I don't. Like, have you not got anything better to do than go out of your way to reach out? Like, I get it if it was a mistake, if there's a wrong link or
date, like,
that's different. But we're talking about a spelling mistake.
Yeah, you forgot the S on the end of something.
Yeah,
they think they're being helpful.
Yeah, I know.
They really do.
It's still icky, and it's not just when it happens to me. Like, you see it happening online quite a lot. I'm just like, dude, that person that actually isn't helpful for that person that you're very kindly pointing out their spelling mistake on a post when they've probably put out 100 posts that week.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. Yeah, move on. Oh, how many times did we offend you? Be honest.
Yeah, be honest. And also, how many times did we say like? If you've been keeping track, let us know.
I think we did better. I really think we did better. All right, there we have it. Our biggest business Icks. Now, we are so excited to... No, we're not. That was a joke, by the way. It was a purposeful joke, everyone. Calm down. Calm down. Okay. We have just added unlimited private Voxer mentoring over in the Scale Up Mastermind. So if you want to have us in your back pocket to be able to bounce ideas off, get unstuck, share, get support, then this is an incredibly valuable part of the Scale Up Mastermind. We would love to see you there. The link is down below. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.